One of the more well-received videos was actually a very hands-on, quick demo of a tool that people could use or get a feeling for what it means to use it in the AI space. And today I want to bring another tool that is a little bit more accessible, that is less complex, much more contained and reined in. This is a tool that is, I wouldn't say prime time ready, but it is fairly solid. It's fairly reliable as these models get these days. But of course, there are problems with it. You cannot 100% trust it. Sometimes it makes mistakes. Sometimes it's being lazy. Sometimes it does overpromise and underdelivers. But if you know what the weaknesses are, you can really get something out of it. And the beauty of this setup, and I'm talking about the tool that is called Tasklet. You can see it here. Tasklet is a AI agent tool that connects to several hundred bigger tools that most of us are familiar with. Is this a tool for anyone who has never done anything technically? No. It does require a bit of an understanding, but it is very light. And I want to just go through a brief demo. I haven't prepared anything specific, so everything is just going to fall into place as we move forward. Now let's create just a new agent. It's this easy. Once you sign up, you can immediately create a new agent, and it's giving you a few ways of how you can experiment with the bot. And the best thing to do is just to try things out, so you know where the edges are, you know what works, what doesn't. What's important to know that you have several ways of using it. You can use it in expert mode if you need high intelligence or even genius. Sometimes that's just the best way to start. I think it's better to start with a more intelligent model and then kind of downgrade as you know where you can afford less intelligence. But I'm just going to go with the expert mode to keep costs somewhat under control. You can see in the top right corner how much of your quota you have used up. Now I have one of the larger plants, so I'm not using it up that quickly. If you have a small plant, you probably want to be a little bit more cautious. But in the beginning, you just want to try things out, and there is a generous trial period with Tasklet. Unfortunately, there is no affiliate program, so this is purely me recommending it because I think it's worth recommending if you want to try AI agents for the very first time in a very light touch way. So I was thinking maybe we can hook it up to a database and try to analyze something inside that database. But we can do all sorts of things like scheduling job searches or, the thing is, the possibilities are endless, and that is the problem with it at the same time. So we need to just go into something and see. So under connections, you can see that I have hooked up all sorts of tools that I'm using already. So that is fairly easy. You just ask it whether it can connect to one of those tools, and it will show you how, and it will give you a easy interface to do so. So you can see, for example, Google Search Console. That's very practical. If you're working in SEO, you could query Google Search Console. Maybe we can try to do that. I don't have a high traffic website to show you, but maybe we can try. And I'm going to activate voice to see how this is going to play out. Let's delete that. Hey, I'd like to access my Search Console and investigate whether Fast Now is getting any traffic already or if you're still at 0. So I'll have to switch on and off so that it doesn't constantly repeat what I'm saying. But you can see that it started to work. Everything is contained and clean. I think that's great for regular users. Let's see, it's checking if we have a connection. It should be able to find, yes, it's already found our existing setup. So just for this conversation here, I need to grant permissions one more time. So you feel safe, you grant permissions to tools that are already connected per agent. So now it's going into the Fast Now website. trying to see what's going on in the past 30 days. It's not going to find much. When errors occur, you don't have to intervene. It handles it by itself, which is a big differentiator. Let's see what it's going to do. Yes, actually is fastnow.app. Oh, I need to switch on the mic. It's fastnow.app. Try again. Let's see. So these are the friction points, but once the conversation gets flowing and there's some base memory set up, things start to work. So you can see it's going into the Search Console, it's picking up information, and it's presenting it to me in a very convenient way. Of course, it's adding some opinion that is out of place there right now, because you have to be much more specific what you ask for. But the point here is it shows you how it can access APIs and how it can quickly retrieve data and present them to you. You could go on from here and dive in deeper and create a report or email it or create a regular check on what's going on. Unfortunately, this particular website doesn't have a lot going on, so I'm not interested in it, not in an automated way. But this is just to present to you how that works. Now, remember, we have a lot of different connections. We can connect to GitHub and we can actually read data, the code, and see if we want to change anything about this. We could give it a go. Do you have access to the GitHub so that we can look at some of the code of the app? I didn't catch the last word there, but it should still be able to execute on it. What I like about this tool that it's clean and it's contained and it resolves issues on its own. And as long as you use a higher intelligence, it's fairly smooth. I've been doing translations with it, for example, and it's struggling with very large data sets and it's doing mistakes. So you have to learn how to control longer execution tasks. But I'm also very demanding in that regard. So maybe I'm going beyond the regular use cases. So it's checking now which repository I want to work with, because there's an app repository and a website repository. So let me not use voice for a second since we are recording. So you actually see here, if you're not a very technical user, or if you would like to be a technical user but don't have all of the skills, this type of tool helps you to kind of explore what you've got with a reliable partner on your site. It feels safe because you can always ask and you can always dig into if there is anything that you do not understand. So I think the demonstration is pretty clear here. We quickly looked at GitHub, how you can access it. We can now dig into the actual code. We can look at the actual database and look at any kind of table and make analysis from it. But you can also do simple things like hooking up Google Search Console or your Gmail account, Google Analytics, whatever you need. You can also save it to your Google Drive. You can connect to your VPS server. So I think this is a powerful tool if you are aware of the limitations, and you will be aware of them fairly quickly once you go to the edges of what's possible. If you are already familiar with the tool, do let me know in the comments section how you're using it and how useful it is to you. And if you haven't used the tool before and you are interested in trying it, do also make sure to comment. I'm curious to see if this type of videos actually encourage people to test out things, if you enjoy this, if this add any value. So maybe I'll explore more of that stuff going forward. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for tuning in.